you down with men, you think it's all important to do all that stuff. You can do that. That's not tefillah. There is an important purpose that serves, but that's not tefillah. So remember, you're going to have to be proud of that. I love that. Also, don't be like the ones who are the street evangelists that make all the noise and draw attention to themselves out on the street and shouting prayers out loud and almost their prayers are accusatory. You ever been around a street preacher in New Orleans or wherever? Like, dang, I don't want to be one of these. That's what it's like. They're just mean. And they'll pick you up, they'll pick on people and start and pray over them with prayers like condemnation. Anyway, not to do that, not to make a show of yourself with your prayers, but to go into your secret place instead. Go into your secret place where nobody can see you. Except one. That's be one person, and go to your audience. He actually taught us some words, a formula, a pattern. Avinu, Shemaim, the Father who is in the heavenlies, Ikadesh Metta, God, holy, sanctified, is your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. These things, you see what they don't come with requests. They come with submission. I'm teaching you how to pray with submission and acknowledgement. And acknowledgement and admission and submission. And when you come to that place, you begin to come to what, and when you actually do it for something, you're not going to ask for a Cadillac. You're not going to ask for a T-bone. You're not going to ask for your daily bread. You're going to ask for the minimum, bare minimum. By His grace, we give you one more piece of food. On your daily bread on that. So you see, you're completely surrendering to His will. That's it. Your kingdom come, your will be done. Lord, give us this day our daily bread. And then He does that. And now you're going to get real. Because you're going to have to deal with the most problematic thing in your life, which is your offenses against somebody else. Your offense is toward God and your offense is toward other people. This is the most critical, differentiating part that sets apart the people of God and gets the disciplines of the Holy One into the world. And what does it? If you're still offended by people, or you're still feeling guilty about your sins, your mistakes, feeling like a failure, how can you give anything to the Holy One? People is now what you need. Because you're going to have to unload, unburden, and let me deal with this issue. First of all, your sins, your trespasses, your breaches of the covenant, your disobedience and duty, your rebellions. All those things have to be dealt with. Forgive us our sins, forgive us our trespasses, now the second, as we forgive those who trespass against us, who sin against us. No, we can't carry unforgiveness, or we can't carry glory. It's such a discipline to learn. You can't carry offense, and you can't carry anger, and you can't carry unforgiveness and grudges, and still carry the glory. The two things that are mutually inconsistent, because it's totally outside of His character. So if you want to get your sins forgiven, and you do, you want to get your trespasses overcome, then you have to be able to give to others. What you have to make room in you by casting out all this negativity of anger and offense and judging and criticism and unforgiveness. You got to make room to receive what I have to give you. It says, and now it says in English it says, "Do not lead us into temptation, or lead us not into temptation." It's kind of funny if your English professor would say, "You never start a word, start a sentence. Lead us not." It's a negative. Never start with lead us not. But in Hebrew, it's not that way anyway. In Hebrew, it says, "Lead us, and let us not fall into temptation." Lead us. It's a cry to have this leadership, not to have Him follow us like a genie in a bottle, a slave. He's going to do our will. We want Him to lead us, take the lead in our relationship. And then He said, and no, not let us fall into temptation. Not let us fall into the traps that have been set for us by our past, by our generations that you were talking about. three or four generations past, not the traps that were set by our culture, or our ethnicity, or our nation, or our group of think that we have in a particular area or family, or not to fall into any of those traps. Don't fall in those traps. As you lead us, don't fall in those traps. And deliverance from rock, from our own self-obsession, self-narcissism. I get typical about some of the people on Facebook or social media that act like narcissists is some big deal. It's the human experience. You think you're not a narcissist, you are one.
We were born that way.
You were born that way, you're not that way. Some people who are narcissists, they're just the way they are. They haven't learned how to overcome that yet, and hope that you're learning this process. Don't get someone kicked off about narcissism or narcissism. It is humankind. It's just why we do things. It's the color we're fighting way in life. To be narcissist, be totally self-obsessed, self-focused, and therefore be selfish. So that's why they call evil in English. But in Hebrew, it's just the meaning of you have lost your first love, you've lost your sight of your purpose. You're instead of following the Holy One and doing His will, you're doing your own will. And that's narcissism.
There's not one.
That's the human condition. So we understand that. Maybe that's one reason we can obviously go back every day for forgiveness. Because we fell into narcissism. Somewhere down the road, we got our will. And if we had our feelings hurt, we fell into narcissism. If we got angry, we fell into narcissism. If we got afraid, we fell into narcissism. Take a deep breath. The big word that everybody hates to talk about these days is us. Everybody. It's all the time. It's always there. It's the trap we're not supposed to fall into. So just it's not temptation, but deliver us from evil, and then portion. Why? Why is it such a big deal? Because yours is the kingdom, power, and the glory. They'll love by it forever and ever and ever. And we got disconnected from that, thinking we had an independent existence. But yours is the kingdom, yours is the power, yours is the glory forever and ever. May it be so in our lives. May it be reflected in our lives. It's not our kingdom, it's not our will, it's yours being done. Well, this is an amazing thread to heal, teaching us what to heal. It says, don't pray on the hypocrites. That's all that's to say. It goes on into the next thing is fast. Third is fast. Talk just briefly about fasting. I'll get more detail. This is a sacred cow for life. It's a scary thing to some. It's a sacred cow for life. What I've noticed is it's a very dangerous discipline. I'm not going to mention names, but I know a dear person, and he's married, and he has a feeling of desperate need, really, because of the situation he's in. He's fast, later. Fast. Now, he's sometimes not drinking for 3 days or a week. And he does it like every other week or less or more. And it's like it's his strict life is in such stress, such trial, and temptation, and test that if he doesn't do it, he feels like he's totally weak and unprepared to handle what's wrong. But spouse sees him and finds out he's fasting, and she attacks partly. She doesn't want that. You think you're so holy, you think you're so smart, or intelligent, so spiritual, you do all this stuff, and you get mean when you fast. You get aloof. You don't put up with my nonsense. And so it's like, if you understand what I'm trying to say in artfully, is that fasting builds this level of spiritual pride, or at least what's perceived by others. Oh, you're fasting. Oh, I get it. You're so spiritual. Or don't you understand I'm fasting with you? Either way, I mean, whether it's in you or whether it's in the other person, how perception of you, fasting can be dangerous for your relationship. and your relationship with God. Because if you're fasting, why are you fasting?
Yeah.
Well, if you're fasting on Yom Kippur, because God told us to fast. So you have a legitimate reason to do it, and that's the only reason to do it, because God told you to do it. Fast, deny yourself on the 10th day of history. But other than that, there are no instructions in the Torah for fasting. So you're making this stuff up as you go. Now, you should think there's a physical effect, but you need to understand what it's not before you can understand what it is. And so, last week we talked about it. He told when he came down the Mountain of Transfiguration. And you remember the story we briefly told last week? When he came down the Mountain of Transfiguration, that brother Snorfoot was spent. He's glowing. He's got the transfigured. He's transfigured. He comes out, and all of a sudden, the first thing happens is he gets down the hill. A guy comes run up to me. He's the father of the demoniac, demon-possessed child. And he says, Master, help me. Tell your disciples, quit arguing with me. They're arguing over what they're supposed to do, and nobody knows what to do to take care of my son. I brought my son, he throws himself in the fire, he died. Every day of his life he's been possessed in misery and anger. And I brought him to be healed, and all they do is argue. And so the disciples came to him and said, well, what are we supposed to do in this situation? Nobody knows exactly what to do. He says, this kind only comes out through prayer and fasting. And then he proceeds to walk a few steps farther, and the kid comes running up, falls on his face, in tears, and weeps out and cries out and gets it all out and said, and sits at his feet, clothed in his right mind. And he said, when did you show a fast? He said, it only comes out through prayer and fasting. When did Yeshua do that?
Was he talking to the ones that were arguing? Was he talking about that spirit in you, your ability to build out the kingdom and the power from on high will only come to you through living this fasted lifestyle, denying what you think you should do, denying the ideologies, denying. I don't think he was talking about your ability necessarily to drive out this demon. Comes from prayer and fasting, but this arguing, this bickering, this fighting, and what's blocking this anointing and this power from on high is what needs to be dealt with prayer and fasting.
Yeah, so let's talk about. Everybody thinks that somehow they're, and I'll use kind of phrase you may have heard of it. Everybody thinks this is a power encounter.
Yeah.
Power of God meets the power of demons. And how God wins because the person is actually employing power of God. And Yeshua basically said, vanity stands on. This is not a power encounter. This is a holiness. So if you want to bring holiness to bear and have this demonic dark force, profanity and uncleanness come in contact with holiness, then you have to be holy. So you have to get there. When did Yeshua, the question I asked was, when did Yeshua fast? When he was up on the mountain, all he was doing fasting. We're not on the Transfiguration. He's been in this process, so he comes. He didn't have to have a power encounter. He didn't command the Spirit to lead him. He didn't say anything. The Spirit came to him because of the holiness encounter, not a power. Now that's the idea of learning how to do a holiness encounter. And the world lost that idea. Now it's power encounter. They want the power of the Holy Ghost to rest in us. And they say, our power is greater than that power. And he says, that's not the way this works. The way the word works in real time is that holiness overcomes profanity.
Yes.
And uncleanness.
Yeah.
But you have to start with holiness. So he says fast. So when you fast, don't do it as the hypocrites do. Now, there's a Greek word that's translated that's fasting. It's neste. Nest, like N-E-S-T. E-A-U. Neste. I always remember neste. Neste. Remember the drink? Neste. And nesteo is a biological process. Did you know that your bodily systems will reset if you go without denying yourself food, I think you go 1, 2, 3 days, your circulatory system will reset, your respiratory system will reset, your gastro and whatever, the gastro system will reset. So there's a biological, physiological reason that people fast, intermittent fasting. This is Nestea. This is just for the bodily purpose. Now, it's not a bad idea. I mean, but it's not what we're talking about. So, Nestea. Nestea, the other reason people do Nestea is more in the religious side. And they say, I want God to do what I want. I want to impress him. I want him to be really impressed by my spirituality. So I'm going to go without food for a while. How you like that out, God? How can you dare refuse me? I have fasted. You have to do what I said now. Or if it's not making you do something, like heal somebody or fix something or give you more money or whatever. It's not whatever the laundry list of prayer leads was that you passed it, so they had to do it. Then it is, I want revelation. I want wisdom. I want revelation. And so we go and we'll fast, thinking we'll get wisdom and revelation. And to some degree, that does not. So it's addictive. It's like an addictive thing, but that's still Nestea because we're wanting for our own purposes. We're doing it for either physiological purposes or what we think about our own spiritual purposes. Anybody ever passed like that? I have.
Yes.
Just, that's what the world, that's what the pagan is. That's what that sometimes. You know what holiday we're in now? We're in holiday. And there are people who are fasting during the day so that God will kill the Jews.
Oh my God.
They want God to kill the Jews. Get them, well, massacre them, kill them, wipe out the face. You're subjected to the reign of Mahdi, or it's not, if you're not a Shia, if you're a Sunni, it's subjected to the rule of the caliphate. Make the Jews plentiful, perfect. They fast during the month of Ramadan. That's what it is. That is not a fact. And that's if you know that, I'm not going to pick on because other folks do stupid stuff the same way.
Yeah.
Or despicable stuff. So now, but then what is it? If it's not that, it's not some way we manipulate God.
Yourself,
Yeah, so we're talking about.
because we have that emotions and we have flesh. Fasting.
Absolutely. So,
We need to control food, the word.
so food is really just the first part.
Yeah, but in the fact is more like.
We're trying to fast our own flesh. Our own narcissism.
Because I can fast, but I can see or say something bad. With somebody else. No means nothing like fasting, but I'm still thinking back. That's why.
Yes, and even with regard to the Yom Kippur fast, I mean, you have to train yourself. Just one day fast is quick.
Yeah.
It feels like forever when you're doing it for a few times.
Yeah.
But it's in the great scheme of things, it's a very short fast. And you don't have any time to program your brain to get into this process. You got to do it. You got to have muscle memory to be able to remember where you are and what you're doing. So, but that's the idea. The idea is to surrender all your emotions, all your flesh, all your attitudes, to pretend death to go before the death state.
Isaiah told us what the Holy One's idea of the fast is not to loose the bonds of oppression and open the eyes of the blind and all that. I can't remember it all. Isaiah 58.
Feed the hungry,
Feed the hungry.
invite the outcasts to your table.
Yeah.
Sounds like Passover almost in that process.
Yeah.
The idea of it is whatever you think you want. You're not asking for something. God, you want asking what can you give? What can you give? And that's the secret of the zoma. In Hebrew, the word zoma is meaning to fast, to actually deny yourself, separate. The word anah is the humility that comes with it. So anah, and the idea is it's not just a matter of food. You can zoma and anah without even dealing with your change in food intake. The key factor here is not, we've said something, I understand. Our bodies are used to it. And we've said something, and it does help that it's so important to our daily activities to fast food. Not eat fast food. It's important just to get us out of the routines. But it wouldn't be necessary. It's not necessary. Never does it say fast food specifically. It just says the zone where it's going on. To find a way to afflict yourself or deny yourself by some form of a denial that gets you out of the normal routine, and therefore to surrender yourself, submit yourself to God and His will, and humble yourself. And the writer of Hebrews says, humble yourself inside of James. Humble yourself inside the Lord, and He will lift you up. No humble lips. No ana, no ele.
So I'm not exactly.
Ana is to be humble, even humiliated. Not proud, the all pride and all arrogance and all feeling of self-importance. We're not in. If we don't get that place, I don't care how much food we don't eat. It doesn't matter. If we have to be at a place that I'm mad. I'm mad when this is all over because you're going to make me. I don't matter for myself. I think this place I can die right here and not know the Lord. So he says, when you fast, don't be like the hypocrites do. He says, who love to show on their faces, let everybody know they're fasting. What good is the fasting? I'm telling you. He said, no, you got a reward for that. You get a reward for that. The reward for that is nothing, basically, but you get, wow, he's fasting. Either they like it or they hate it. They fast, everybody does it. So you're not really about that, about what you get or what you think about you. Just don't do that. And don't disfigure your faces and grunt and groan and moan and cry and tell everybody, I'm so miserable in the fast. Let nobody know. Let nobody know. Just do it in secret, in a secret place. And your Father who is in the secret place will reward you. What is that reward for? It's not so you can get the revelation you look for, or get the reset of the knowledge system you're looking for, or get some sort of special spiritual status and a flag we have to wear because I fasted for 21 days, or 5 days, or 3 days, or whatever. It's so you can get something to get away. What you need, what the world around you needs to have you get away. That's the reward. He said, wow, okay, so fasting is something way different, more deeper, and it needs to be. Again, we talk about the people, the multitude way below, and the great higher calling upon our lives. Be medicine. Then it gets into the last part of the disciplines.
Bill, can I have ask a question about fasting before we move on? In 3 of the Gospels, Messiah was asked question about his time being, we found all the time that we never see your guys fasting. And he responded with, they fast when the bridegroom is with them, but there'll be a time come when the bridegroom is taken away and they will fast. So my question is, what was or what is the Hebrew? What was their idea of fasting when they approached Messiah with that question? Just on
The mechanics of it.
ashes and sackcloth and, what was the purpose of a fast to a Pharisee, for example? What was their hope to accomplish if it wasn't what it's supposed to be?
Well, okay, so just kind of, it's an SAO fast.
So that's what they thought it was when they were ordered to fast, didn't they? Or not ordered, but when they.
Nobody's been ordered to fast.
Right, but other than like Yom Kippur or,
Yom Kippur, and it specifically says anah.
okay,
So you're dealing with an anah here, not a fast in an SAO type of sense of a Greek way of thinking. So, it was common. It is common. It is religious to think of fasting as in terms of, it's a process we go through. It's a formula we follow. You don't eat for a whatever period of time. You choose not to eat. it's a vow we make or some kind of promise we make. And it's
So
gonna
it wasn't some, it's just something they thought of that would impress God, pretty much.
impress God or impress fellow man, or maybe impress themselves.
Okay.
That I can overcome this. One of the issues I used to deal with back is, I have some sort of a anger tantrum or whatever. I get angry or get offended, get hurt. And I would fast, try to get over that. Like, rather than go through the forgiveness protocol, I go through the fasting protocol. I want to earn my way out of this. Well, I never got that experience. Anyway, so
So it's just that.
earn your way out of it. Earn your way out of it.
The funny thing about that is if they had, if his disciples had been fasting the way they were supposed to be fasting, nobody would notice.
No one would have known it except that one little boy. He would have known really well. Yeah. So, there will be a time to fast. Why did they not make them fast? At that particular time. First of all, they might have been fasting and no one knew it. But assuming what Yeshua said is really true, that they get asked about why do your disciples not fast? And his response is, when the bridegroom is with you, you don't fast. But there will come a time when the bridegroom will be taken away and you will fast. That's, you see the point of fasting then? It's to be with the bridegroom.
Yeah.
It's to be with the bridegroom. If you think of it's anything else, not to be with the bridegroom, then you miss the whole point of fasting. You're back into that state, as opposed to Psalm and Anah. If the bridegroom's here, why would you fast? If he's teaching you at the top of the mountain and he's opening his mouth and his mouth is filling out these words, why would you fast? There's no reason, because you're in the connection. It's only when you're not in the connection that you've been taken away. If you fast, then the fasting allows you to transcend levels out of humility and let him open through that open door. The trying spirit, he will know in no ways deny. He will come to those who are poor.
When the bridegroom is with you, it's a time of rejoicing and celebration.
And absorbing and learning. Yes, exactly. All those things are involved. And nothing more celebratory than learning at the hand and the mouth of the master.
Well, when he was asked that question, he was in the process of assembling the 12. I mean, my thought was, have they even had time to get to the point where they even understood what his fast was really all about yet? They're in that learning process.
The question becomes, okay, let's just get theoretical. I hate to do that, but sometimes it helps you to think things through. Let's say second coming. We'll be fast. When he comes, his power and majesty for every eye see. I get into issues of rapture, not rapture. I'm just talking about when the second coming. When he appears on the earth, says his kingdom on the earth, begins to reign for 1,000 years. When he's in this situation, will we fast? Or will we attend the bridegroom? And I don't know the answer for sure. It's a theoretical question. Because we haven't experienced this yet. But that it's just giving us to think about the issue of why is the bridegroom's here? And we're receiving from him daily, moment by moment, revelation, knowledge, and wisdom, and his company, companionship, then what would the fasting be on? The idea is to make sure we maintain that connection that's already there. We let it do it. My thoughts. Yeah.
There will be a whole lot of reorganization going on and people changing jobs and doing.
Chinese fire drill. It's a spiritual Chinese fire drill. The image for that's being drawn by the Lord first chapter of Numbers, by the way, when the whole camp was redeemed drill and urban as where the turtle lines, banners, flags, tribes. That picture is being what's going to happen when they come to us again. Since this kingdom, the whole world, and there'll be assignments that we're going to park right outside the room, but there are assignments to the city and countries and lands under the authority of the disciples.
Wow.
That's pretty amazing.
Whoa.
Anyway, so we got through the first three factors, the three listed. How do we? And this is where the whole issue of the results scenario that was raised by Elmer when he was here before, he's doing a really good job. He's doing good work. He's teaching the kids right now.
Amen. Yeah.
Spirit and also learning. But while I'm in there, he asked that question about the results. And sometimes it looks like because the billboards and the marquees and the statistics that get coverage, that the churches that are doing whatever they're doing are having all these results. Till you start digging into it.
Right.
And the question is, that's not the result that he asked us to win. These are the results that he asked us to do. So this, the question is not those results and what number we can publish. Okay. Numbers are a very bad problem. He said, don't even count people by number.
Right.
Back into, if you're going to need to know the number, back into it. Stack up your points. Count people. Don't ever count the people. Don't ever post your numbers. You post your numbers and it's trouble. It's trouble. You're going, and nobody can trust them anyway. Because you're going to replace the number. Anyway, so these are the four elements that we're talking about. So the bottom one is seeking, not worry. Let's see what he has to say. Somebody want to find that for me? It's in check 6. Let's see what's first. Okay, beginning of verse 6:19, so do not let yourselves stray from it. There is a discipline of laying up for ourselves treasure in heaven. To lay up for ourselves treasure in heaven, we can't lay up treasure for ourselves on earth. This is a very deep teaching. I'm not sure I'm ever going to be able to test it. Definitely. But the idea is, what do you value? What do you think is important? What do you want to happen as a result of your life? Do you want to have money? Do you want to have a big house? Do you want to have a good reputation? Do you want to be well liked? Do you want to read? Do you want to be popular? What do you want out of life? He says, what do you know about all the things that you said? They're all on this earth. Treasure. They're all treasure. So what treasures in heaven are we talking? Or is he talking going to heaven? I mean, that's what's taught by Christianity. That's what I'm asking for. And that's not the Messiah. It's there. It's real. It's not, not happen. It's done. Already, it's not an ideal reason for doing anything. It's just what comes along with what you do. So he says, okay, so it's not going to heaven when you die. That's assumed if you are doing the other stuff. Not because you do the other stuff, because it's assumed because you are evidencing the fact that you're going to heaven. You've already experienced that in some level. So you're already on the pathway, on the trajectory to go the right way. So he says, if it's not that, then what does it mean to have treasures in heaven? Lay not up yourself treasures in earth, or small from rust, dust, all that stuff. But ladies up where it does not go, faith does not speak well. So what are these treasures in heaven? Yeah.
I just had a really strange thought.
Strange thoughts are good.
It's about propagating the kingdom of heaven, because if you're helping the widows and the orphans live longer, then you're increasing their bloodline and the good that's done in the world. I don't know, that was a big thought.
That's a good thought. I mean, it really is open our horizons here, open up our parameters and our perimeters and all those things.
There's scriptures about producing godly offspring.
Producing godly offspring, producing the seed. And so, let me just ask you, do you have a treasure in heaven? Do you have a series of treasures? This is plural. What are your treasures in heaven? In the heavenly realm? Let me start off for you. Get you jump start. The one at the center of it all The one on the throne himself. I mean, that's treasure number one. Treasure number one, I hear your exceedingly great reward. So our first treasure in heaven is the Holy One, and he comes with a whole panoply of stuff that comes along with it, right? So what else comes along with it? What are the other treasuries that are in the heavens? Yeah, thoughts? Yell it out if you think it.
Just our love, what's all of the lover?
Souls of others, our loved ones, which kind of could be divine or suffered. It could be ours, our loved ones, or maybe others. And so the plan of God for them, for all of them, whether it be our own relatives or our own loved ones, or whether it be strangers, is all wrapped up in the heavenlies. And it's one of the treasures that we seek and long for in the heavenlies is to know the will of the Father for each one of us. That's a treasure. To know the will of the Holy One for our children, one by one, for our spouses, for our brothers and sisters, our cousins, our aunt, and our neighbors, and to have a sense of what the Holy One's trying to do. And not this revelation about our neighbor, about our friend, about our spouse, about our loved ones, our children, our grandchildren, to have a sense of God. That's a treasure. Is it valuable to you?
To know as we're known, like he says, when that fullness comes.
Well, this is, when Shiloh says that we are seated in the heavenlies in the side of Yeshua. We have a seat at the table. We have a seat at the council table. We have a seat there by the 24 elders. We have access to that seat. That seat's pretty precious. And that precious seat is one of the treasures of heaven. It's the fact that we would have that place and we could go and listen in on the conversations and hear the voices of the Godhead, something called as the great council of the heavenlies, the 24 elders, the holy creatures, the angels, the cherubim, the seraphim, all the things they hear and they say that we read about in the book of Revelation, and the book of Daniel, the book of Isaiah, and we realize there is a council chamber in a process. There's things happening, legislation being passed, and conversations being had in the heavenly realm. We have a seat there. But most of the time, we don't even pay it because our treasure's down here. Our treasure's in Facebook.
Wow.
And social media, and treasures in even this fellowship. We love this fellowship. This
Yeah.
not compare it. Compared to the seat and the heavenly realms, this pales in consideration, right? As most we think it is. So, do you treasure your place in the Holy itself, and the seat and the throne and the seat behind the throne? And how about the words that come out of him? His words. Treasure the words and the meaning of the words and the reason for the words.
We're about to be free from the old nature
And
and all its effects and the adversary.
to have a vision for yourself set free. And he has that vision.
Completely free.
God's vision for you at your highest functioning potential, at the everything he programmed, designed into you, the capability to have an impact on the world, to be able to see a glimpse of that. That's a treasure in heaven.
I'm seeing this picture of this fountain above always brings expansion, making connections with the stretching of the tent pegs. And it's just building beyond our comprehension. It's just a picture.
And I'm thinking too about the tree of life,
Yes.
that actual tree of life, and I'm thinking about the throne, the sea of glass, the picture of that, of the beauty realm that we hear so much about on Shabbat. And what, and this sweet, and the presence of the air, to see the sea of glass, to see the stones, the gold pavement. I mean, just to really not just imagine what it must be like because of the words that are written, but we're gonna be walking on those streets and seeing all those beautiful stones and like, we're gonna see the elders throwing their crowns at his feet. We're gonna hear and all the stones. We're gonna.
And we'll say it out involuntarily.
Yes. There will be this energy that we won't have to call for it. We won't have to pray God, put it in us or deliver us, lead us and deliver us more. That will be gone and it will just be now we're in it. We are out of the world and we are in the simply and we're surrounded by.
What if every Sabbath was supposed to be like that? What if we're having to train ourselves to be thinking like that? I'm gonna give you three. If I start talking, I'll get caught up in that, but God knows I'm a visual learner, okay? I would love to be more auditory, in many ways. And I can do auditory things, but I really like visual learning. So he gives me vision. Thank heaven.
You know what? I'm so glad that you are an auditory teacher the way you are, because you are a visionary learner and receiver. But God has given you such a gift of transferring that into words that create a picture for us, for me. And I'm so grateful for that.
Thank you. Let me go ahead and tell you the first is a dream. A dream I had when I was many years ago, 1994, before all that stuff changed in '7. But in that dream, I was seated in a huge auditorium in heaven, right outside the gateway of the palace of the king. And it was like you go to a big stadium and huge stadiums, like big stadiums, 100,000 people. This is like millions of people. And we had chairs, we had seats like we're going to football here in the stadium. It's great. I had all these chairs and other stuff, and they take me to I have an assigned seat in this huge amphitheater outside the gate of the palace. And there is a road that passes, the King's Road passes right in front of the auditorium, the gate of the palace. And so we're there. I don't really know why I'm there because this dream. I'm in this place, and it's my seat. I'm in the seat that I've been given in this grand auditorium amphitheater. And I'm frustrated because you've ever been to a stadium or a concert or something, and the seat you got is right behind a big pillar. You got a really good view of the pillar.
Yeah.
I'm like, why not get a better seat than this? This is the worst seat you could possibly get. But after a while, you say, oh, well, I'm here. It's like I'm trying to look around. Look around. Nothing happening yet. It's waiting. And then all of a sudden, as I hear a kind of a rumbling sound in the background, and everybody gets really quiet because there's a lot of talk. Everybody, stuff. And everybody got real quiet. And I heard the chariots from the hoofbeats pounding. And as it got closer and closer, everybody knew it was the king. He was coming. He was coming in the royal entourage. He was coming and going to come pass by us and review and go into the palace. And the amphitheater was there waiting for him. It's like suddenly everybody's like on the edge of your seat. And the coachman gets to standing up. I'm still behind the stupid pillar, but I know what's happening. It's enough. It's like I'm not worried about the pillar because I sense what's happening. And all of a sudden now, you can take this for what it's worth, but at this particular stage, out of my gut, out of my innermost being, not out of my lips, my mouth, my mind, comes these words. And everybody in the whole millions of us are chanting and singing the whole thing. Menade, Principo! Menade, Principo! Translate. Glory of the King.
Oh, okay.
The glory of the King.
Okay.
And we are caught up in this reverie. It's like, I don't want to leave here. Even if he just passes by for a few seconds and I catch a glimpse around the floor of some shining radiance, all I really care about. This is a treasure in heaven. this, I know I've got a treasure in this visuality of the treasure in heaven. Isn't really like, I'm not saying it is. I'm trying to tell you it's a new doctrine. I'm telling you, this is what he wants us to understand. We have treasure in heaven, and the treasure is centered upon him, but there's a place for us. So, fast forward. A few years later, I'm in a dream again. In the dream, I'm getting onto an elevator. One of those elevators outside of the building is glass. You can see all the way where you go. But I don't push any button. When I get in the elevator, immediately it just goes up. And it goes up fast. It's like flying. It's like 100 miles an hour flying up. And I'm just on the elevator by myself. And it's like I'm watching the whole world just disappear before me. And it takes me up into the heavenly realms. And I'm in this huge office complex, like building with a great big conference rooms in it. There's all sorts of stuff going on in the building up there. And I'm walking along, so I don't have been there before, I don't know where to go. But I'm supposed to be there. I've been called and pulled up out in there. I'm there. So I start walking around looking for where I'm supposed to go. And I walk up this one door, and I open the door, push it in, and there is a huge conference table of amazing angels and people, elders and saints, and gathered around this huge conference table. And at the end of the conference table, at the head of the conference table, is Yeshua. And he's got a board, like a whiteboard, but it has layers to it. And you can peel away a layer and you see layers below it. So like 10, 12 generations worth of layers. You do something now, he would point out, this is going to have this effect, over the next generation for 10 to 12 generations. So this, even though this looks like a good idea right now, it's not a good idea because and the elders are giving their contribution, and the saints and they're all giving their contributions to it. And he's over there speaking, and he stopped what he's saying. He said, "Bill, you came." And he walks over to me, and he just, you ever have somebody give you a bear hug?
Yeah.
Picked me off of my feet, where I'm up in the air, and he's hugging me, and his nose to nose, eyeball to eyeball, beak to beak, and he's looking at me, breathing on me. And he's laughing, and he's happy. He said, "I'm so glad you came. Guys, let me introduce you to this. This is my friend Bill." Hello.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm just about to die. I don't know if I belong here or not. And I know I don't belong here, but that's like, I'm very humble this moment, very humble this moment. So he says, "Bill, here's what we're talking about. We do this, so I have this effect. So we're also the council of heaven with regard to what to do with nations and with all these things." And he said, "What do you think? What's your input?"
What is your?
I'm looking at angels. Cherubim, seraphim, and elders. You ask me what my counsel is, my thoughts are, what I think about this. I'll sit down. If it's okay with you, can I just sit and listen? He says, "That'd be very nice." So that's the end of that. Fast forward another series of events in a few years, and I'm in Jerusalem. This is a vision. It's not a dream. It's a vision. I'm in Jerusalem in the old city, and there's a place where you can go in the old city. Underneath all the city ruins, it's ancient. It's there with Yeshua. It's really good, and they have meetings in that stuff like this. So we had this meeting down there. I was visiting them, and I was kind of not into the way they were doing the worship. I was not like, wow, I was in it. I just wasn't in the way, so I just kind of walked back, back, back with the old stuff there was. So I put my hands on the pillars, back to the pillars. Put my hands on one of the pillars, and I closed my eyes, and immediately this vision came. And it's like I'm seated now up on the Mount Moriah, above the walls down below me, the plaza down below. You know what I'm talking about there. Been there. On top of the mountain, you look over, and I'm sitting there. Yeshua, I'm seeing. I look around. I'm just looking down and seeing all the people, and I see from all over different directions their parades coming. And people from all the nations are coming, bringing their praise and worship to, it's like cookies and cocoa. Or the Feast of Tabernacles, where they all come from all the different directions. They actually do a march to come in to the city, to the main, they gather around the plaza, basically. So I'm sitting up there and I'm watching this, and this is so cool. To see this perspective, that is perspective, we get to see all the world coming to Jerusalem, all the world coming to the beer, all the world coming to worship the high and great King. And I kind of look over and, oh! His throne is right in his right hand. He's sitting there. I didn't even know it. And I'm oh my gosh. It's like, okay. So I'm sitting there and it's like, oh, I'm so glad. I'm thinking to myself, oh, I'm so glad he's here. He can watch the, it made me so happy. It made me so joyful to see all the nations coming to this. This is his promise with that. And so they come in every nation, every culture has its own musical instruments. Some are blowing shofar, some are blowing mandolins, whatever their instrument is, and they're dressed, they have their own cultural dress on. They're all coming from all their angles and sides, and different directions. They come in the flight and they do a circle, and they come, and I'm saying they're coming close, so right underneath where he's sitting, fully in view, up on the mountain, up on the top of the hill, with rocks, somewhere. The wall's probably what, 25, 30 feet high? I don't know exactly. That just right there. I can't wait till they see it. I can't wait till they see. And his eyes and their eyes lock. I'm thinking, wow, this is going to be so wonderful to be in this place at this time, to see all these people come to see him, to worship him, and see him face to face. And they come and they pass right by and they never even notice. And they blow their shofars and they do their dance and they wave their flag and they keep shouting and yelling and doing all sorts of crazy things. And they didn't even see him. And they pass by and they miss it completely. They go out the gate, they go the other way. And more people go, and they do something. They come, what do they see? No, it's not. They never saw. They never even looked up. And I'm thinking, I was like, oh no, this is terrible. I'm keeping one group, surely somebody can see and actually realize, oh, you're here. You're not here to do the dance. You're not here to wave the flag. You're not here to wave the banner. You're not here to shout the shofar. You're here for him. I'm thinking, somebody somewhere, somebody's got to see it. Nobody did. They came and they left. And so I was sitting in shock. And I was sitting in total shock. And I'm just don't even know what to think and say. And I can't believe human beings did that to their creator. They just didn't even see him. And they got caught in what they were doing and all their religious activities. And they just didn't even see him. He was right there. And so I kind of look over and I see it, and he's kind of smiling. He hasn't changed a lot of facial expressions, but there's a little bit of tear rolled down one cheek. One little tear rolled down his cheek, and he looks at me, Pat Steinhardt. He said, Bill, they don't come to me. They come for each other, they come for one another, they come for themselves, and come for each other. So they can't see me. I just wanted you to see.
Oh,
Wow.
I just wanted you to know I'm here for you. And that's my third vision of this whole process. But yes, we have treasure in heaven. Yes, we have treasure in heaven. It's unbelievable treasure in heaven, but we don't even think about it most of the time. We just think about stuff.
wow. You're right. So one thing that came to my mind is we're going through this, and after Marcy's thought there, I think there is a portion of the Bible and a message in the Bible that talks about God falling outside of me. Am I right? Yeah. So I was thinking about that. Just move because we're recording.
You got a good picture.
I was thinking about that as you were talking about your vision. Have you guys ever thought about it? Like, if we go by the Bible, the earth, it's been here for what, 6,000 years, right? So,
It's for the state, please.
yeah. So how many people has he brought to life and take their lives? How many people have come to this earth, come and gone, you know? And he called each one of us by name.
he created every single little thing that it's
He
necessary.
designed our DNA.
And he calls us by our name, like each one of us. How incredible that is. And that's for me, it's a huge, when I think about it, that's a huge treasure, like being called by my name. After he created so many things and so have given life to so many different people, like people way better than me. And he still calls my name. Like it's just huge. Like, wow.
And the earth is not complete in his mind. It's not complete until you hear his name. You're- you hear your name. And even yet, then it's in the beginning. Process.
Yeah.
Done. Yeah. I mean, it's not easy to do that for the day. If you don't understand that you have treasures, then we will all that. And then we'll not have to give the blessing. We'll all be caught up in theory, opinions, and dogma, doctrine, belief systems. He said, well, but do you understand what treasure you got? If you understood what treasure you had in heaven, and what you have to give, and what your purpose on earth is, then you could rise above these things. And that's where we are. Lay not up for yourself treasure on earth, but lay up treasure for yourself in heaven, because where your treasure is, your heart is also. And vaccination about that. Groups coming, nations coming, down the class, underneath the wall, not even seeing you. That's what happens in this treasure. Religious treasure, cultural treasure, ethnic, all earth. And it means you've got nothing of any consequence to give to the people of God. Well, it's time to, I'm going, everybody, see you next week. Find your treasures, go looking for your treasures.
Look at this verse right here. Revelation 2:17. To him that overcometh will I give to eat. Oh, get back on.
Put that down.
To him that overcometh, I give to eat of the hidden manna, and will give him a white stone, and in the stone a new name written, which no man knoweth, saving he that receiveth. So not only does he know your name now, he's gonna give you a stone with a new
A
name
new name.
that only you will know. Is that awesome?
Yeah.
Revelation 2:17.
Revelation 2:17.
Yeah.
I was at home on the cycle all day. 30. 30. Sunday. This is my mom. Dance was all. I'm not talking about straight. You know, that. Something, yeah. This is important. At 9 o'clock.